talking LeBron or Carmelo, it's LeBron as a player. But from a scoring standpoint, Carmelo is practically unguardable. And especially 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, this dude's a walking 25, 30 points a game.
So is LeBron.
But it's the way they
He's still
manufacture
doing that.
points. And no, it's the way they manufacture the points. Because if he's getting locked up by like Lou Dort or whatever his, a week or so ago, if he has good defense, like what we saw against the Mavericks in the finals that one year, if the defense swarms and doesn't let him just attack and finish at the rim, LeBron is basically another guy out there. He uses his strength and athleticism to get points. And when you take that away, he has no counter because he's not as skilled as Carmelo. Carmelo doesn't have the strength and athleticism, so he has to score all of his points off of counters and being creative against his defender. So to me, from the eye test, and you can pull up numbers, let us know in the comments because I don't have, all the numbers in front of me, but Carmelo is just pound for pound a 110%, 100 times better scorer than LeBron, way more creative and gets his points in a plethora of different fashions.
He's more crafty.
100%. Well, and Larry Bird is
crafty.
LeBron is on this list by default, like Bill Russell is on the list of greatest centers of all time.
No, and I'm not saying LeBron in any way, shape, or form just has this Now I think he has a repertoire. He could like
a little bit, yeah.
Does the 1 foot fadeaway. He has a 3-ball now. He shoots from the logo like it's nothing at this point.
He shoots. Does he make it? I don't know. He does shoot.
He's hit like 7. He had games where he had like 7 or 8 threes this season in like multiple games.
I know a lot of people who go to the rec center and shoot, but that don't mean they
now
make
we're talking about bums to the greatest players of all time.
LeBron, to me, yes, he has developed a 3-ball. He's developed a midi post game. He's developed some wiggle around the rim because he's not just punishing dudes. But, that happened in year whatever he is in now. He's been able to rely on that athleticism and strength his whole career, which if it works, don't fix something that's not broke. I get it. But again, you saw like against the Mavericks, and you can't necessarily do that against him when he's got a big 3 his whole career. And the thing about LeBron that really irks me, and this is a side note, is when he goes to teams and then they assemble a roster around his strengths. So there's no excuse for him not to win because they're plucking all the great role players, all the great shooters and defenders, 3-and-D players to surround him with. So what happens? You have 3-point shooters wrapped around the key. He turns Chris Bosh and Kevin Love into just exclusive 3-point shooters, which frustrates the hell out of me because Chris Bosh and K-Love were really good on their respective teams. So LeBron gets the pill, and then he gets to basically have a 5-out, wide open, maybe pick and roll scenario to isolate whoever the smallest guy or weakest defender is on the other team. And then, so now his matchup is either the weakest defender with no help side, because you can't help when you have shooters on the rest of the court,
right,
or he just basically barrels all the way down the, and he scores a lot in transition, but in the half court, he basically just puts his head down and goes to the rim. And if you do help, he kicks it to a shooter. And then in crunch time, especially in the playoffs, he doesn't. And again, this is a hot take because a lot of people probably have facts. They have a little note sheet in their phone to pull up. Oh, LeBron against the Pistons where he went bananas. Like there's a lot of, I'm not saying he's never been clutch, right, but when you have to manufacture points at the clutchest moments, he has deferred because he doesn't have that ability to create scoring from anywhere at any time because he's not as skilled a scorer. And then that's kind of why the narrative plays into him being more of a playmaker, because I don't think he's got the plums as a bona fide scorer. He doesn't have that kill switch, but he doesn't have those plums. He don't got the plums. Now, Joe Johnson is 100 times more clutch player than LeBron. That's facts. That's facts.